All right, welcome everyone. Dr. Mike Reed from Chiropractic Masters International. I want to welcome everyone to this Master Talk. I have a good friend and a Facebook ad master with us tonight, Chris Burfield. Chris Burfield is a chiropractic strategic marketer. He's actually worked as a CA. He owned and ran a practice, and now he's got over 17 years under his belt, leading doctors around the world, getting tons of new patients through Facebook and Facebook ads. So Chris Burfield from Van Burf Media, thanks for joining me on today's Master Talk.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm excited. And just a quick update. It's been 20 years, man. It's been 20 years in the profession.
Fantastic. It goes quick, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sure does.
I invited Chris. Chris is a part of our digital marketer mastermind. We've shared a lot on different masterminds, and I just was with him in ChiroFest in Portland. We had a great time there, and now you're joining on tonight's Master Talk. So, Chris, let's just talk a little bit about your background, because a lot of doctors know of you. Facebook's a hot topic right now, but let's just go through your background and how did you get into Facebook?
Yeah. So if we kind of backtrack just a little bit to like when so as a chiropractic assistant, I had always done a lot of, it was part of, not only was I a tech CA in the offices that I worked at, but it was also my job to bring in new patients. So I did a lot of, traditional type of marketing, outside talks, corporate talks, in-office workshops, teacher appreciation events, all that stuff. And then in 2003, I got an opportunity to actually co-own a practice. So I opened a practice with a friend of mine who was a chiropractor and started doing all the traditional stuff. But that was around the same time, around 2005, 2006, YouTube came out. And I started putting out videos and just educating people in the community and stuff like that about chiropractic. And we actually started, when people would search like chiropractor Allen, Texas, our YouTube videos would pull up. And we started getting patients from that. So I really I got into digital marketing that way. There's another story for another time, but like for the most part, from a chiropractic standpoint, that's when I first started seeing the power of internet marketing. So I ended up, I was teaching a bunch of marketing strategies to chiropractors. So I started building an email list around 2006. And I was teaching them some of the traditional things I was doing in marketing. And as we went along, I was selling programs, like showing them how to do a teacher appreciation event, how to do referral marketing campaigns. And I ended up doing a survey of my list in 2014. And I was like, hey, how many of you, how did that teacher appreciation event turn out? And the doc would email me back and say, oh, dude, it looked awesome. I just never got a chance to implement it. So I started getting that type of feedback. So I was telling my wife, I was like, I wonder, I'm teaching them how to do marketing, but I wonder if, there's an opportunity there to help them by doing the marketing for them.
Right.
So I ended up starting Van Burf Media in 2015, January 2015, and decided that I wanted to focus not on just the traditional stuff, but I wanted to focus on internet marketing because I knew how powerful it had been in my own business. So I had been running Facebook ads and stuff like that for some clients and started getting results. And the next thing I know, everybody's talking about it, saying, hey, you need to get with Burfield. Like, guy's got the voodoo or something like that. He's bringing new patients in with this online, this social media stuff. And that's basically how I got into initially I was doing all your digital marketing. I would do email. I would do all your infographics, all that. And I just really, it was hard for me to kind of scale that. Right. I had a lot of people I wanted to help, but I didn't have the manpower to do it. So I just focused down into Facebook and became an expert at Facebook marketing.
And, Facebook's the hot topic right now. I'm big on email marketing and Facebook. I saw this trend years ago and it's been growing. And it's interesting. I read a stat, only 5% of chiropractors are actually taking advantage of digital marketing like Facebook, which is surprising, but it is one of the best ways to attract new ones into your practice, especially if you can target that market. Let's talk about the mirror exposure effect and how you can leverage it for marketing, Chris.
Yeah. So here's what mirror exposure effect is. So it's actually, it is a psychological strategy, and it's based around that when somebody sees someone or something over and over and over and over again, they tend to have a preference or a liking for that person or that thing. For example, Coca-Cola, right? A lot of times people ask, well, why does Coke or McDonald's, why do they still need to run commercials? Everybody knows who they are. Well, it's really just mere exposure effect. It's just being out there so much that it's, some people call it top of mind awareness sort of thing. But my point with one of the reasons you need to be putting out content everywhere on as many channels as you can, Facebook, YouTube, your blog, emails, and just creating that mere exposure is because in marketing, it's not people's job to remember who we are. It's our job to remind them, if that makes sense. So it's not their job to remember us. It's our job to remind them. So one of the things that I have found one of the easiest ways to be seen everywhere is really through the Facebook ad platform, like if you think about it. So it's like everybody's paying attention to this little device, right? They've got their face buried in it. They're scrolling through Facebook as they're watching their favorite shows on TV. Some people actually have multiple devices open at the exact same time. They've got their iPad, their laptop, and their phone, and they're checking that as they're watching TV. So one of the things with mere exposure is that you could create content and for pretty cheap, deploy it through the Facebook ad platform through a video view ad campaign. And through video views, you can get people to see your content over and over and over again in the newsfeed. So one of the questions I always ask, business owners, chiropractors is, think about your, and I hate using this term, especially in chiropractic, competition, right? Because in my opinion, there really is no competition. We all work for the betterment of chiropractic. But think about the guy down the street, or think about the medical doctor or the acupuncturist or the massage therapist. How many times in your newsfeed throughout the week do you see something from your local medical doctor teaching people about health and wellness? Like where you see sponsored ads, videos running, content that they're putting out saying, hey, look, if you've got leaky gut, here's something you can do for that. Or, hey, if you've got, if you're suffering with depression, here's something you can do that. Hey, if you've got low back pain, here's something you can do for that. So how many times do you see that? Every single person I ask is like, I never see it. I never see local doctors doing that, where they're actually teaching their community about health and wellness. So if you were to create content videos that, I don't know, maybe are 2 minutes or less, just giving quick tips to people, and then run a video view ad campaign to get those videos exposed in the newsfeed over and over and over again, you can reach a lot of people very quickly for pretty cheap. So for example, Mike, for $300 a month, if you spent $300 just on a video view ad campaign, you could get those videos in front of 30,000 people in your community every single month.
That's true. That's huge. Mike Koenig, he talks about you everywhere now. And you sort of nailed it. I like to call it total market dominance, TMD, so that you're exposed, you're consistently exposed to the people, you become the leading expert, and when they develop that sort of like and trust, you're the one they're going to buy from. So I'm 100% in agreements with you. You also talk about goodwill campaigns to become that leading expert. Let's chat about that for a bit.
Yeah, so I'll give everybody an example of a goodwill campaign. So let's take, for example, people that suffer with migraine headaches. So here's what I would do is I would create 3 pieces of video content that are basically you genuinely trying to help people with migraines. So here's what that content might look like. Video number 1, and again, these are all videos that are quick and short, maybe like 2 minutes or less.
Right. No more than 2 minutes.
No more than 2 minutes. So first video is, hey, this is Dr. Chris Burfield, and if you're suffering with migraines, here are the top 3 foods that you need to stay away from, because we know that these foods can trigger migraine headaches. Here's why they trigger migraines. Here's why you need to stay away from them. So basically, you're just kind of putting out a warning video, right? The next video is you say, hey, look, research shows that stress to the cervical spine can trigger a migraine headache. The stress that you're experiencing that's causing your migraines could be because of the way you're sleeping at night. So here are some of the ways people sleep, and then you show them some of the different bad positions that people get into, where their pillow's puffed up and their head's all jacked up, right? Twisted sideways. And then you say, here's how you should be sleeping. And you just show them a simple, proper sleeping technique. The third video might be, hey, look, next time you feel a migraine coming on, try these pressure points. There are several pressure points in and around your face, in between your thumb and your index finger, your toe. And you just show them a couple of pressure points, maybe like 4 or 5. And just, we know that at the end of the day, if they're subluxated, these are not correcting their problems, but it shows them that you're genuinely trying to help them get relief from their migraines. And if they do these pressure points, for example, and for some reason their next migraine, instead of being a 10 out of 10, ends up being like an 8, like they're singing your praises, you know, they're just like, oh my, like that worked. Like it was not as intense, you know, or, hey, ever since I've been using that proper sleeping position, instead of getting 5 migraines a month, now I'm getting 3 or 4. So again, they see this, they're seeing some sort of result. Frank Kern calls it results in advance.
That's right.
So that is a goodwill campaign. There is no pitch being made in these videos. So it's not like, hey, here's the pressure points, by the way, come into our office, you know. There's no pitch at all. It's just you sharing content. Now you can put, like, you know, at the end of the video, maybe put your contact info or something like that, or maybe put it in the copy, but you're not actively pitching people to come in.
So in marketing, we call that the call to action. So what you're essentially doing is giving free content, free content, free content. That's it.
Yes, exactly. Gary Vaynerchuk, you know, jab, 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 and then right hook them, right? So these are the jab, jab, jabs. And then what we do is then we run that as a Facebook video view campaign. Now here's where it gets interesting. This is where the magic starts to happen. So Facebook considers a video view, as anyone who watches your video for at least 3 seconds.
Right.
So you could literally have 10,000 views and 9,500 of them were 3 to 5 second views.
That's right.
So with Facebook, when you go into your Facebook ad manager, into your power editor, and you set up a video view ad, you can tell Facebook, hey, I want to create a custom audience of people actually watching a significant portion of the video. So a good mark where I like to start is the 50% mark. So if I have a 2-minute video on migraines, I tell Facebook, anybody that watches at least half of this video, so at least a minute of it, grab that person, put them in a custom audience. Now this custom audience, I want you to think of it as an email list where you can't see the person's name, email, phone number. You can't see any other contact info, but they're there. So it's like an invisible email list.
Right.
And then we create this audience, and we then begin to retarget that audience. Now here's the beauty of it. If I don't have migraine headaches and I see a video that says top 3 foods you need to stay away from if you have migraines, I may accidentally watch that video for 3 seconds just scrolling through the news feed, but I'm not going to watch a significant portion of it. I'm not going to watch half of it. It has no relevance to me.
It's not your target market. That's right.
Exactly. And but if I do have migraines and I see that video, I say, what's this about? And I then watch that video and I watch to at least the 50% mark, chances are that person has migraine headaches, and now we have them in a custom audience. So what you then do is you begin to retarget them with additional content, right? So the other videos that you've made in your series, and you show that audience of people the other tips and strategies. You're building trust with the audience, likability. They're getting to know you. They see that you're genuinely trying to help them, and then bam, we right hook them with an offer. Hey, you know, this is Dr. Chris. You've probably seen my video series on migraine headaches. If you've tried staying away from the foods, if you've done, you know, you're sleeping in the correct sleeping positions, if you've tried the pressure points and you're still having migraine headaches, chances are you probably have something much deeper going on, and we need to find out what the underlying cause of that is. So lucky for you, I'm an expert in that area, and I'd like to offer you an opportunity to come into the office and at that point, you can really charge anything you want. Like, you don't have to do the $19 exam, consultation, x-rays, and first 3 adjustments, which I've seen chiropractors do. You could, you know, I still believe that there should be some sort of discounted offer, but it could be like, instead of it being normally $250, you discount it to $99 or $97 or something like that, where you're charging a higher fee. That way you're not getting just tire kickers coming in there, but you don't have to devalue chiropractic at that point, because they've built that trust with you. And now you begin to see people picking up the phone, calling your office, requesting an appointment online. So that's a goodwill campaign.
Yeah, and you know, I agree with you. It's that like and trust. So people start to like and trust you, and then eventually that call to action to buy. So we've discovered that 1, 2, even 3 and 4 videos. Sorry, 1, 2, 3 videos, and possibly a fourth before that call to action is usually the magic formula. Have you found that as well, Chris?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. And that's one of the reasons why, like, I do it like that with clients, and I say, hey, look, this is what I need from you, and yeah.
Now, I don't want to get into advanced, technology on this, but do you go back and retarget that custom audience or pixelate them as well in order to sort of fine tune that target?
Yes. So yes, you can absolutely do that. So like you can actually, so for example, so you've got this custom audience of people that have watched the original videos. You can then, like, if you're making your call to action video or so for example, let's say you have your call to action video and somebody watches at least half of that, but they haven't called to schedule yet. You can actually create another custom audience and refine that down of people that have watched that video. And now you know that those people probably have an interest in it. They just haven't pulled the trigger yet. And then you can retarget them again. So it can go so many layers, you know what I mean? It's, and that's the power of Facebook. And a lot of people, you know, it's I mean, here's the truth. At the end of the day, you could go and you could say, hey, you know, go to YouTube and type in like how to set up a Facebook custom audience.
Right.
You know what I mean? How to run a video view ad, and the stuff's there. It's just you taking the action to do it. Right. Where a lot of people end up working with me is they're like, I just don't want to do it. Like, you know, well, I just like.
I've always said that to my doctors. I said, you know, just remember YouTube and Google are your best friends. If you don't know how to do it, just go online, and there's usually somebody in Indonesia or Australia that will teach you how to do it. But what I find is most doctors just don't have the time, and that's when they're going to use your services. You know, here's something that I want to talk about is it can be a very saturated market and very noisy. There's a lot of people doing this. So how do you stand out? How do you be the purple cow? How do you brand yourself to be unique?
Yeah, you know, so when it comes to that type of stuff, the first thing is actually, and I know this is going to sound simple, but the first thing is just doing something, right? It's like so many people do nothing. There's no exposure for them. So this is what kind of going back to in the very beginning, just the fact that you're making videos, content, you know, these goodwill videos. And again, this doesn't have to be geared towards a specific condition, right? So I have clients that actually make videos. Like I had a client who went to Chipotle and sat down in the restaurant, and and I love this video because he was talking about how to eat healthy fast food. Right. So he went to Chipotle because, you know, people are on the go. Let's face it. You know, this is a fast food nation. People, you know, they know better, right? Okay, this stuff isn't healthy. But he was like, okay, so I'm going to show people that when they do eat fast food, that there are ways to make healthier choices. Sure. So he went to Chipotle. He sat down. What I loved about it is that he was in an environment. He wasn't standing against just a blank, you know, tan colored wall or white wall in the background. He was actually out in the community. And then he sat down and he did like this 1.5-minute video talking about like, hey, you know, here's some healthy choices that you can get at Chipotle. You can actually eat healthy on the go. And I had another doctor who did this video on just basically law of attraction stuff. You know, what you think about is what you bring about. And then she talked about how negative thoughts affect our health and how we have to like, have an abundance mindset. That video was like it was like a little over a minute. It was like 1 minute and 10 seconds. It's had something like 80, this is just in the last few months, like 87,000 views. Huge. It had like 258 shares, like I think like 600 likes. Like it just went crazy. Like, and it wasn't chiropractic related, but it was, hey, I'm trying to teach my community about health. Nobody is stepping up to the plate and doing that. So if you were to sit down and make a list, okay, what are the things that I really enjoy teaching my community or my patients about health? Maybe you like making videos on nutrition. Maybe you like, or, you know, you love teaching about nutrition. Maybe you like teaching exercise. Maybe you are, you know, like a life type coach where you talk a lot to your patients about having that abundance mindset. You could make content videos and then run those videos in the newsfeed, and they're actually delivering something of real value to people. And that'll make you stand out head and shoulders above everybody else in town, because nobody does it.
And like I said, it's maybe 5% of the chiropractors that are using it. It's such an untapped market. So the key though, and I think you'd agree, Chris, is consistency. And a lot of doctors will start doing this and then they stop. It's like, oh, I didn't have the time. I didn't get around to it. So what are your secrets and tips, to getting this done on a weekly basis?
Yep. So I'll kind of give you just an example of what I do in my own business, right? So my company, Van Burf Media, I have a show on Facebook. It's called Propaganda Marketing Machine. And every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, I air an episode of Propaganda Marketing Machine. And what we do is we teach marketing strategies to entrepreneurs, business owners, chiropractors, right? And I film, and then I have this other series of videos called The Vault, and they're little 2-minute top tip videos. So it's my top tips of the week sort of thing. I have my videographer come out, and I have a videographer for this stuff, right? But I film a lot of stuff just with my iPhone, a lot of stuff. But I have him come out, and he comes out one day during the month on a Saturday, and I stack it. And what we do is we film between the 8 episodes of The Vault and 4 episodes of Propaganda Marketing Machine. We film 12 videos, and we do them all in about 5 to 6 hours on a Saturday. Now, those shows, Mike, are some like the Propaganda Marketing Machine shows. Some of them are like 20 minutes, 15, 25 minutes. So they're long shows. To make quick little 2-minute video tips, man, that's the easiest part of our filming. Like I can knock those out in about an hour, just like in 45 minutes or so. So what my recommendation is, pick one day out of the week, pick a Saturday, a day that you're not like in the office taking care of patients, and just make a list. So every month I make a list of what I'm going to talk about. Here are the topics for the episodes. And then I film them all just in one setting. And then I have them for the entire month. I don't have to do anything else but just deploy those. And deploying them is just uploading them to Facebook. And then also, like, I repurpose content as well. So that show, I upload it to Facebook. I upload it on YouTube. I then have the audio stripped from it, and we put it on iTunes. So it's in a podcast format. I'll have it transcribed sometimes and put on my blog. So I'm repurposing the content as well. But that's the key, is consistency. But really, you just have to pick one day out of the week to film. Just, even if you did 8 videos a month, that's 2 videos you can deploy a week. And
I agree with you. I agree with this. So the doctors are right now thinking, okay, I don't have 5-6 hours. Chunk it down, 1 or 2 hours. Everyone's got an afternoon or morning that you're not doing anything. You can sit here and knock off 4 or 5 videos. And this is what we do in Shereen's practice. We'll go on a Friday afternoon. We'll knock off 4 or 5 videos. I'll edit those on the weekend or give it to my team to edit, and then they're ready to go for the next week. And every doctor on this team can do this. Now, I love what you said, because this is about repurposing. So you can put on your Facebook newsfeed, in your Facebook ads, you can repurpose it on your YouTube. You could then take that as a link in your weekly blog or vlog, and the audio on a podcast. And some doctors go, okay, what's a podcast? Well, we'll talk about that another time. We can talk about how to do that. But there's 5 ways you can actually repurpose those videos to your entire community, and it doesn't take long. And if you don't have the time to do this sort of stuff, then they can use professional services, correct?
Yeah, exactly. And I'll tell you, a great place is Fiverr, Fiverr.com.
Right.
So I found this chick on Fiverr that I'm working with right now, and she's actually taking my videos for my show, and she's creating ebooks out of them so that I can give them as giveaways as lead magnets. So you could actually, let's say you made 8 videos for the month, right? And they were each 2 minutes and they were on different topics. You could give that to somebody on Fiverr, have them make an ebook out of it for like $50, and then use that as a lead magnet in your community to run an ad to it to get people on your list, or just do something cool for all of your patients. Hey, we got this ebook that we just put out. Email it to your patient base, just to keep that that relationship with them. So there's all kinds of, yeah. And again, and you could take like that little 2-minute video, have somebody transcribe it on Fiverr for $5. Like you can have it transcribed for $5 and then post it to your blog and then send an email out. Hey, I just made this blog post. Here's what it's about. You don't have to do all the stuff yourself. You can find ways to outsource it pretty cheap, and Fiverr is a great place to look.
Yeah, and just so doctors know, Fiverr is exactly $5, and you can find somebody in Indonesia or Pakistan for $5. That's the day's wages. They're more than happy to do this for you, and you can also use Upwork. Upwork's another company you can go to, but Fiverr's a little cheaper. And I agree. And just so the doctors on this line, what's a lead magnet? A lead magnet is just offering something like your ebook in exchange for name and email. And that's how you build your list. So the doctors that don't know, I think that's a great idea to create an ebook with all those vignettes that you do. That's fantastic. Hey, Chris, we're going to open it up for some questions. We got a boatload of people on this call. For the doctors who are interested in using your services, how can they get hold of you?
Yeah. So if you go to Van Burf Media, V-A-N, V as in Victor, V-A-N-B-U-R-F media.com. You can go over there and check out my website. And I've got some information about the services that we provide over there. And then also, I'll tell you, like I have a private Facebook group that I'd like to invite your listeners into.
Sure, absolutely.
You just go to Facebook and type in Propaganda Marketing Machine. I have a private group. It's kind of like my inner circle, and I post all kinds of like tutorials on marketing. It's all like kind of freebie stuff, right? But it's solid information. And we have a great community, about 425 doctors over there right now that I'm just sharing some of my marketing insights with.
And, for the doctors, I mean, you've given amazing content in this last half hour. You're also speaking at Prosperity, which I'm excited to have you at. So the doctors who are listening, prosperitysummit.net, and you can learn more about the speakers, and you're going to be sharing, which is fantastic. And, this is easy stuff. Now, the results, I'm all about results. You're all about results. Chris, doctors who are doing this, on average, whether it's an event, dinner, workshop, body signals, testimonials, case studies, what are the average results that you're seeing in extra new patients per month?
Yeah. So I have a dinner with the doc Facebook ad campaign that we do. It's called Recipe for Revolution. We get average about 25 to 30 people in seats per dinner. With the Community Guru program, which is what I was just talking about, the goodwill campaigns, mere exposure effect, that sort of thing. It ranges from market to market, but we're seeing anywhere from 10 up to 25 new patients a month from that type of marketing. But again, marketing's so funny, man. Every market's a little bit different, but that's about what we're seeing average.
How many doctors on this call could use an extra 10 new ones? I mean, if your case average is even $1,000, there's an extra 10 grand, 120,000 a year. Plus, if you use my marketing tools and you exponentially take that one family member and make it 3 or 4, your practice automatically takes off. So let's see if I'm going to open the chat room here and see if I can get Dr. Rob Garfinkel. Do you have a question?
Yes, Dr. Rob, how are you?
So, docs, if you have a question, just feel free to type it in there. And Chris's Facebook and your website, just give that Facebook site that you have as your mastermind and your website one more time.
Yeah. So the closed group on Facebook, if you just type in Propaganda Marketing Machine, you'll see the closed group. You can ask for access and I'll grant it, get you in there. And then also the website is Van, V as in Victor, A-N as in Nancy, Van Burf, B-U-R-F, media.com.
Right. So we have a lot of doctors who are on tonight. And we got doctors all over. So docs, just kind of wave to Chris. We have an open gallery view so we can see all. If you guys don't want to be seen, you can just mute your video. Dr. Mike Headley, thanks for waving at us, Doc. I see you there. Rob Hillier down in Florida, good to see you, buddy. So if you guys have questions, go ahead and pose it. We have another one in the chat room, and I can unmute you, and you can actually pose your question. So if you have a question for Chris, let's just jump on there. And here's another question from Dr. Mike Headley. It's what's the best length of time for Facebook Live video for a tip of the week, for example?
If you're going to do a live video, I recommend you keep them pretty short. Like I would say, I did one yesterday that was really long. It was like 13 minutes, but I recommend that if you're just going to do a tip of the week, keep it in between 1.5 minutes, 3 minutes max. don't go too long on those lives. I know a lot of times when I see the live videos pop up, and I've seen some chiros do it where they were like 27 minutes, and I'm like, I'm not watching that.
Yeah.
Content's probably good, but I'm just not watching it.
And that's important because I agree with you, because one of the things I've discovered is that everybody nowadays has ADHD. And when I go to YouTube, I look at the length of the videos. And if it's not under 5, I don't watch it. I just don't have time for 8 and 12-minute videos. So
Right.
I think it's important that we really focus on just give one tip, just one nugget, and that's going to be followed by, and you can pre-frame what's coming up in your next video so people are going to be watching for you. And I think if you can actually do that, you're going to get a lot of people to follow suit with you as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so hey, Bob Pike says hi. Good to hear from you, Bob. From Dr. Kern, I've talked to the docs that boost videos on Facebook. What's your knowledge or opinion on boosting?
Yeah, I'll tell you, I don't really boost a lot. I think boosting is a great way to get your feet wet, doing some Facebook ad type stuff. But ultimately, you really want to get in and you want to use your power editor. You have so many more options with that. I've seen where if you boost a post, you can get exposure as far as likes, maybe some shares and stuff like that. But when it comes to my clients, I don't ever boost a post to try to generate a new patient off of it. If anything, I may boost it just to get some exposure out there, but never from a new patient call to action sort of thing.
And you have to remember,
I don't think it's really worth it.
Yeah, Facebook's is in the money-making industry, so they're going to see if they can dip their hands in the honey pot, one extra time on you, and make some more money. So another question from Dr. Kern. With all the Facebook rules and changes all the time, I have heard it can be tricky and may limit you on topics like weight loss.
Yeah, weight loss is super tricky.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I initially, a while back, I had some clients that were doing weight loss, and here's some of the things that will get your ad denied quickly. Making any reference to how much weight a person can lose. They claim they are over-exaggerated claims, but an over-exaggerated claim to Facebook is, hey, lose 5 pounds in the next 12 months.
Right.
That's an over-exaggerated claim. So you can't make any reference to how much weight a person can lose in any amount of time. You can't do any before and afters or anything like that. They're very, very touchy. Even using the word weight loss can get your ad. I've seen sometimes where it kind of gets through, but it can get your ad denied and ultimately can get your ad deactivated. One of the things, though, that I was going to see if I can pull it up here. I came across an ad recently for weight loss, and the way the guy did it was so good. Oh yeah, here it is. So I'm going to hold this up to the camera. So what he did is so you can't do before and afters, but what he did is he just posted a picture of his fat, naked body. And then here's what the ad read. And the reason I saved this, because this thing has 926 shares, 1.9 million views.
Wow.
So this ad has been running for a while. So when I see stuff like this, I'll grab it and I'll be like, hey, something's good. So here's what the ad says. Hey everyone, Drew here. If you've got a second, join me in this intriguing blast from the past. And it's a picture of him overweight. Luckily, I'm not disallowing myself to work out anymore, but this time of my life will always be a big part of who I am, pun intended. Click the link below to see my favorite way to maintain a healthy and, more importantly, enjoyable lifestyle. So notice no mention of weight loss,
right.
But you can tell he's holding a tape measure in his hand, like a waist measure, and he's fat, and he's talking about enjoying a healthier lifestyle and more enjoyable lifestyle. So when you see that as a consumer, your mind automatically goes to weight loss without ever having to mention weight loss. So that might be a way that you can get around if you have a weight loss product or service that you're offering out of your clinic. Maybe try something like that.
So Mike also has a question here. Do you recommend to put video testimonials, even case studies on Facebook? Is this legal? As long as you get, and here's my understanding, as long as you get the patient's permission, it's legal to do.
Yep. The only country that I know of off the top of my head is Australia. They are not allowed to use any testimonials whatsoever whatsoever. It's crazy.
You know, I think that
like
needs,
Dr.
I think
Mike
that
just said,
needs to be challenged. I think a lot of these governing
go,
powers are basically infringing on the rights. So.
yeah, but yeah, yeah, like Dr. Mike said, get their permission, and then yeah, run the hell out of those things. There's nothing better than social proof. There's nothing better than social proof. And here's how I would do your testimonials. Here's a quick tip for everybody. Most people do video testimonials where they set the patient across from them. They hold up their phone. They videotape the patient from the waist up, and they say, state your name. What was the reason you came in? Tell us, what medications were you taking? And they're asking questions and trying to prompt the patient, right? It looks so solicited. So here is a really non-solicited way of making your testimonials look, and people love them. So what you're going to do is you're going to get yourself a selfie stick, right? Or you can get one of these little things, they're called pop sockets, and get them on and just put it on the back of your phone, and you can hold your phone very easily. Something else you might want to look into doing is getting one of these. It's called an Aki Aura. You can get it on Amazon, and so if you look at the view of where I'm at right now, and now I'm going to put the Aura on, and now we have a much further away view. So what you would do is you would then hold the camera out, be in the video with your patient, be in the video with them, and then you ask them 2 questions. First, you address the camera and you say, Mary, or you say, hey, Dr. Chris here. I'm with Mary. Mary's one of our patients. Mary's been suffering with migraine headaches. And then you turn to Mary and say, Mary, tell everybody, what was life like living with migraines? And then just let Mary talk and tell everybody how horrible her life was. Let her talk. And then your next question is, Mary, now that you've been coming here and you've been receiving care in the office, what's life like now? And let Mary sing your praises. And you're in the video with her. You're not prompting her. You're not like, hey, tell us why you came in. Tell us what medications you were on. What kind of results have you seen? Just let them tell their story. And the easiest way to do that is to ask those 2 questions. What was life like with X? What's life like now?
And very short, we just did a patient testimonial with Dr. Shreen the other day, Chris, and it was Shreen's first Facebook Live. So I said, let's just do a Facebook Live. I actually asked the patient, but they're more than happy to help. So docs, when you ask your patients for 1 per week, we did a Facebook Live over 1,200 views. And you can actually repurpose that Facebook Live video and run it on your ads manager, run it in your newsfeed. I mean, sky's the limit.
Right?
Absolutely. All right, one last time, Chris, what's your contact information?
Yes, website is VanBurf Media, VANBURF media.com. You go there and check us out. And then also, like I said earlier, I'd like to invite everybody that's on the call into the private group where I post a bunch of video, like marketing strategies, video tutorials on how to actually do things. So they're not just concepts, like I actually show you how to do stuff. And that closed group is called Propaganda Marketing Machine. Just search it on Facebook, request access, and I'll get you in.
And fantastic, Chris. And you're at prosperitysummit.net. So the docs online want to find out more about who's speaking there to join us. You're going to be sharing more great tips on Facebook. And, we have Billy Sticker and Brad Wilmer there, too, part of our mastermind group. We'll be sharing more on.
I love those guys.
So, thanks, Chris, for being on tonight's Master Talk. For all the doctors, I hope this was great content. Just start getting out there and filming, getting it posted to Facebook, and watch the traffic grow in your office. So once again, Chris, thanks for being on tonight, brother.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Okay,
bye, everybody.
Watch for next week for our next Master Talk. We've got a series of 4 more speakers before Prosperity Summit. Love to have you join us. Until then, guys, keep practicing your passion.